Background music for this podcast is used with permission from the Hustle Cat soundtrack. If you like it, please check out at SAMMNEILAND or that same name at .bandcamp.com. You can see in the description below. Thank you. Hey everybody, welcome back to Visual Novel Book Club. I'm your pal Slowbeef. With me, of course, my good friend Pulahoko.
Hey.
My good friend Turbo.
Howdy.
Jim.
Hi everybody.
Vacuum.
That's me.
We're back. We finished the Reese route, and a little longer than I think a lot of us intended, or I intended at least.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened.
A lot of new things, which is good.
Yeah. It was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I have to say I'm definitely liking the Reese route a lot. But let's get into it. Where did we leave off last time? We had the basement scene, right?
Yeah, and Reese likes romance novels.
Right, yes.
Yeah. I think everything plays out as normal for a long period of time. Avery gets up, plays with the cats, falls asleep. Thai food is here. We learn about Spider Coven again.
Right. And
what else?
Also functionality-wise, I think we discovered that the fast-forward option works like Ever 17/9/ a lot of modern visual novels where it'll fast-forward through things you've already seen, right?
But not things you haven't already seen.
Exactly. So you can hit...
Well, I
think if you hit fast-forward for things you have not seen, it will skip over stuff.
I see.
That's wild.
So it goes... So it will go to sort of load points. So, and a lot of the load points are where sort of the path splits.
I see.
Yeah. Basically, they design it in that if you've made a new choice, you have new scenes to watch.
I see. Yeah. So
but it's not 100% accurate in fast forward goes to stuff I haven't seen before.
I see. Okay, so right, I got you now. My mistake.
And you'll never live it down.
No, thank God I won't.
What else, happens? Avery gets magic, turns a can into a cat.
Mm-hmm.
We meet Noct again, and Graves is securing the premises again. So all that stuff plays out the same way it did in the previous path, and I think the only new thing is when it's finally time for Avery to talk to someone about the magic stuff that's going on, they talk to Reese.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this, right away, this made a lot more sense. Avery, knows that Reese knows about magic and is I want to talk to you about these wards that Graves is putting on the building. And I want to talk more about magic. And Reese is okay, let's talk in the basement.
And I gotta be honest with you, it feels to me like this route was written first. Because this makes so much more sense. The whole narrative seems to flow much better.
It makes so much more sense that because Avery wants to know about magic, would go and talk to, seemingly the one person who knows about magic in this. Yeah, yep. Even if we were dating someone else, it would just seems like it would make the most sense to talk to Reese. Because he's the only one that's talked about anything about knowing about magic.
Right.
The one thing I will say in terms of what it feeling sort of like the first one that was written, I feel like Finley's almost feels like the first one that was written because there's this she's playfully flirtatious in every route that I've noticed, and it's no, I'm not dating you. Stop trying to be cute with me. I got this one on the other side. Stop.
Finley's ending doesn't feel like it was written first. I think.
Yeah.
All of it up until that decision point where it's the final showdown perhaps was written first, but that seems like a separate piece.
Yeah. And the Finley stuff is it's definitely supposed to be tempting because clearly if you're going to go into this, you're going to be the flirty one, I'm going to pursue her first.
Oh, someone likes me, I'm going to like them back. It's easy.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, thank God I don't have to put any effort into this.
I mean, this is a fantasy. Like, come on, game.
For your lazy Hustle Cat players.
Why?
Because in real life, it would be the person who would ignore you that you'd pursue first.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, come on. Like, this is my fantasy where everybody wants to date me and I don't have to put in any effort. Like, this is why I'm playing this.
Finley is Garfield level of difficulty for Hustle Cat.
Oh my god.
God damn it, stop doing the episode titles in the beginning.
So
We
what?
go
so
back to Garfield as a disturbing amount, honestly.
Well,
It is.
cats.
Garfield,
Ah,
Heathcliff.
We should talk about Heathcliff.
The
more.
second part of this game, I forgot about that.
The secret Garfield ending. So what happened? Oh, so Reese is like, okay, let's go talk about magic in the basement, and they have a little back and forth where Avery's like, say please, and Reese won't say please or
Well,
something
Reese
like
is
that.
like,
And they have
what do you mean, say please?
You made
came to
that
me.
sound a lot more sexual than it was.
It does. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just
They
reading
went
my
down
notes.
into
but
the basement. Avery teased them, made them beg.
yeah, I like this game now. Actually, weird. This was really the scene.
You say please, motherfucker, you say.
We'll play that game later, I'm sure, eventually.
All visual novel courses turns to hentai.
Visual novel book club at night. No kids allowed.
Visual novel adult book club.
You don't want to see this version of Mario, we're gonna read live.
So what, like, I don't even remember, like, why, like, because Avery's the one that says, let's talk. Oh, I guess, like, Reese asks Avery to meet and talk with him, and then Avery's like, be nice and ask me politely, and Reese is like, no. I don't remember, it doesn't matter.
Actually, it's like, he goes to him and says, Reese is like, let's talk in the basement where there's nobody around, and he just comes off as that kind of pointed, let's go to the basement, and Avery just likes to play around, and he's like, well, say please. That's how it was.
Their whole dynamic is
Their dynamic is,
goofy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But
Avery
it's
just
fun.
likes to mess with him.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's also very similar to Finley, where, like, it seems like they're just good friends. Like, I'm not really seeing the spark. Like, it just doesn't seem like they don't... I don't know. Which is the same with how I felt about Finley. But so they go talk, and Reese already is like, yeah, I know that you broke the curse, obviously. Reese talks about, yeah, he's Graves' apprentice. His dad is a witch. His parents are alive. I was wrong. It seems like his parents are totally fine. I just thought, well, why would you be staying with this complete irresponsible guardian who's doing a bad job teaching you magic? But I guess that's just part of the deal. So Reese's parents just agreed to allow him to come here and be cursed, so he can learn about magic.
Mm-hmm. What's wrong with that? No.
We don't meet Reese's parents, so we don't know how what they're like. But
I imagine they talk like this.
and like Reese is like,
Hold on a second.
They both talk like
Yeah,
that.
they
Yeah, it's
both talk
weird.
like
That's
that.
that's actually the
how they
whole.
found each other.
Father.
Yeah, that's how they fell in love at this concert. Like, they were like, oh, finally someone with his voice.
They were singing along to Spider Coven.
I just imagine like they did the two fops like. You like Spider? Of course. Our boy Reese. He's going to go be a student somewhere, perhaps an apprentice.
You like Spider Coven as well, I take it.
It was
Jim
great.
Sterling, wouldn't you?
Wait, no, that's not. Come on. It is though, isn't it?
Avery is like, I'm not dense, while Reese is explaining these things, which is the most obvious lie in this game so far. Avery doesn't like, and I really like that Reese is like, what's your problem? Like, you should have figured all this out. Like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to how
Avery-
frustrating it was in the other route. Like, I'm like, yeah, friggin' call this kid out.
Avery was being, like, top tier dumb right here. It's like being like, oh, no, I'm not clueless. Wait, your name is actually Reese?
Then of course that all feeds into Reese it is revealed that Reese is kind of mad at us that we broke the curse, but he can't do it because he's been studying magic his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
He's got kind of this chip on his shoulder where it's like, this guy just comes in and he thinks he's better than me, and he kind of is because I'm still a cat. But he's like a complete goof and he's not competent at all. So what does that say about me?
Yeah, but they both like Reese seems like he's kind of like he's not like he knows that he shouldn't feel that way is like the impression that I get from this exchange, and like Avery's like, I don't know what I'm doing and you shouldn't feel that way and I want you to help me. And so Reese kind of like backs off and is like, okay, let's go study magic together and we'll like exchange ideas. And then of course Avery is like, okay, come to my apartment later, it's a date. And Reese like freaks out because Reese can't handle it and just is like blushes like a dork.
I like that. I thought that was cute.
I mean, Reese has a really great like surprised shock sprite.
Yeah, his sprites are so like, I don't know, like the surprised one is like so different than the other ones. It's just like, here's a big goofy baby.
He has a surprised cat face that shows up exactly once, and I'm mad that I didn't get the picture of it, but it's like 10 times better than the regular shock face. Like,
his cat faces are so good.
I like Avery's, but I don't know if you can call it a cat face exactly. I guess it sort of is. Like Avery's mouth goes into like a V kind of shape. It's
Avery's troll face.
Yeah, I love that. I love that expression. But
it's kind of different from the rest of the character portraits because the colors go a little flat, which I think adds to the.
Yeah, it looks a little bit more cartoony.
It's good. It's a very relatable emotion.
Yes.
I wonder what what the file names are for all the different emotional faces. Like, that's when I see them, because they're, like, not, they must have some, like, goofy name, right? Because they're complex emotions, so it just makes me want to be like, I wonder what that face is called.
Like, yeah,
oh my God.
Reese
turn off the software developer.
Yeah,
turn off the software developer.
I'm such a software developer.
.org or something.
.pff.
What else? Oh, and then so then they're in the cafe the rest of the day, and Reese keeps like sneaking looks at Avery, and naturally Avery doesn't know what's going on because they're an idiot still, because Avery's still an idiot baby.
He is like, he's got this kind of like, not really committed to it, but like this paranoid like, I know that you're doing something with Graves. I don't know what it is. Like, I know that you're still a cat, and that doesn't make any sense, but maybe you're just playing mind games with me. I don't know.
Yeah, like, calm down.
This sounds like the worst R&B song ever. Like, maybe you're a cat, maybe you're just playing R&B games. I don't know.
Hey, baby. I think you might be a cat. But maybe you're just playing games with me.
I don't know.
Whatever you want. That's all I got.
Yeah, Avery's voice acting is really strange in this game too. We haven't really touched on it.
Avery's what?
Avery's voice acting is really strange in this game. We haven't really touched on it.
It stays really high until it's time to get down.
Until it's time to get low. For that deep, soul-soothing voice.
Oh, and then, this is very important. Reese and Avery are only 2 weeks different in age. So all this time, everybody's been calling Reese a baby, but Reese and Avery are the same age.
Okay, but what frustrates me is I don't think they said who's the older one.
No. It's probably, I think probably Avery's older.
Yeah, it does frustrate me, because it's like the twin argument.
But that's 2 weeks.
Well,
Yeah,
Like, they might as well be almost exactly the same. They pretty much are!
They could be the same astrological sign. Like, that's what I'm really worried about. Are they the same sign? Are they different
What?
signs? This is important.
Why is that important?
Well, it's like
They're
if they were
all
born
Leos.
on the
Joke.
same
Oh,
day.
Spoiler alert.
Joke, it's not important.
No, it is. You read tarot cards. I forgot about that.
Oh.
I like to pretend to care a lot about, like, made-up things that are supposed to tell you about your personality, like astrological signs.
You don't have to back away from it. It's fine to believe in the occult.
Please tell me you've given a tarot reading to one of your robots before.
I absolutely have.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do they usually react?
Do you make a robot to give tarot readings? Tarot robot?
No, that
a
would be
tarot
fun.
bot.
That would be more like a AI
A Zoltar
thing.
kind of thing.
Yeah, Zoltar. Zoltar.exe.
Yeah, she tried to make one of those, but it kept turning people into kids and kind of had to give up on it.
One
Or
time we
wait,
did a...
no, the opposite.
One time we did a...
Remember
a
that
reading for one
Tom
of...
Hanks film,
God,
Small?
fucking...
Kingdom Hearts 3, you mean? Oh, sorry.
Okay, done.
I believe it was
never
tiny,
mind. I was
actually.
gonna tell an adorable anecdote, but now I'm not because we're talking about this game.
Yeah, derail.
We learned that part of the cat spell is that you can't watch. So here's our question.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the cat spell is that you can't watch someone change. If you try to watch them, then you sneeze.
Right.
So when they head home at the end of the day, Reese is like, oh, you tried to watch me transform. You can't. It's part of the spell. And if you try, then you sneeze so that you close your eyes.
Yeah, that's the best explanation for why we didn't do art for this that I've ever heard.
I thought that was a neat thing of like, let's not, like, everybody's so curious about like, what does it look like? What's the transformation? Is it weird? But like, part of the magic is nobody knows. There is no answer to that question.
Sneezing is a fair sight friendlier than what it could be. Like, I would imagine like your head would just explode or something.
It's true. It could be
Organisms.
incomprehensible. And Avery's garbage apartment is garbage. I don't remember if Avery was this upset when Finley came over.
Avery was not this upset when Finley came over, though maybe
Yeah,
it
I
was
don't really
more
remember
trashy.
that either.
Well, Finley kind of headed it off at the pass, too. She's just like, oh, yeah, my apartment's trashy, too.
Yeah, but Avery's like, oh my gosh, like, this place is a sty, Reese is here, like, I have to clean everything. And Reese is like, well, this makes sense because you're so bad at cleaning the cafe. And they just keep giving each other shit the whole time, basically.
Yeah.
They just keep doing that.
Flirtatious banter.
I feel like it could be more flirtatious. I feel like a lot of their banter is just, like, if you were just like, oh, these are two friends who are giving each other shit because they're old friends, like, I would also believe that.
Like, Avery offers him some food. It's like, let me get you, some cat food for you. And Reese fires back. It's like, are you just going to put your portion on, like, an old pizza box and eat it off the floor?
That was ice cold, and I loved it. Oh my god. That was really good. That was a good comeback. And it's also, like, a little bit too mean. Like, I guess that's why.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, not too mean for friends, but it's a little too mean for, like, people who are trying to see if they like each other.
Or friends with a little bit of tension there. Which is why
Yeah, like, that's just mean instead of, like, with some sexual tension. But also Reese is a cat in this scene, so I feel like it's hard to really do that.
See, like, I mean, I'm kind of reading their relationship at this point as, like, it's supposed to be a little will they, won't they, even though you kind of know, they will. But, like, you know what I mean? Because, like, I don't even really think Avery meant anything per se by, like, great, it's a date. But, like, and just, like, kind of said, like, yeah, we're getting together, we're meeting at this point, it's a rendezvous, but, like, phrased it like that. Maybe a little on purpose, but it, like, makes, Reese jump. Like, at this point, you know what I'm getting at there?
Yeah.
Am I just out bicycling here?
Like,
No,
I think
I
at this
think-
point that, yeah, both of them will just do things to mess with each other. And I don't think it's quite romantic yet, but it's kind of like maybe testing the waters to see what they can get away with. I don't know.
They get so
both,
upset.
Just
What's
because
that?
I think yes, absolutely. Avery's fucking like messing around with Reese because Avery kind of likes Reese and wants to see where this goes, but is also like, I'm not going to take any crap from you. I think Reese does it from just total insecurity. This is all Reese's insecurity just coming out being like, no, I got to fight you off because you're going to make fun of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe that's why it doesn't feel, because it's not equal like that.
Yeah, Reese totally also. Reese seems to have this like sort of like needs to be an authority kind of complex, you know, which is totally not working on Avery. Which is
maybe not in authority. I could see that at the beginning, but I think at this point maybe just somebody that always has to be on the offensive, even if it's just like these empty threats or empty, insults.
I am the greatest assistant manager in the world. I am the boss. I keep track of you and everyone else here. I watch all of you.
It would be nice if we could just punt him across the room.
Reese's, I don't know, I guess, I'm trying to think of, like, how it would have been, like, fixed a little bit for me, and I think it might be more like Avery actually in Avery's internal dialogue, focusing a little bit more on that and being like having an explicit moment where it's like, well, Reese is insecure, but I like him anyway, kind of thing. And I think we get a little of that, but like maybe it's not. It's like more like in a friendly way versus like Reese. Reese has this problem, but here are the things that I really like about him that are really drawing me to him.
I think it comes through, but I think it's very subtle. Like, there's no point where either character really just crosses over a line. And I think that they're written, and it kind of shows that they're thinking about where that line is, and they're not willing to cross that line.
Never forget that Avery's a dumb baby.
Yeah.
And Reese is also a dumb baby. So, they're both dumb babies
dumb
together.
Baby central.
Dumb babies bumping into each other in the night.
So then Reese calls it a date, and it's like, oh, we're gonna order food, and you need to eat better, and then Avery's like, I'm gonna take your wallet and pay for it, and Reese is like, fine, if this is a date, then I should pay for it, and then all of a sudden Avery's like, oh, my words have been turned against me, and now I'm uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And so maybe this is like they're like. Maybe up until now they've been bluffing, and now they're like, oh, wait, is it? Now, have we bluffed our way into actually being on a date?
It's a dumb baby standoff.
The other reason, too, though, I was kind of saying it was like, they weren't, it was still like that little bit of tension, too, is because do you remember earlier when Avery tries to wrestle the book away from, or no, vice versa, actually, Reese tries to wrestle away from... Yeah, and it's like something like that. I don't know if you'd be like so like I guess like so in somebody's personal space if you actually did have a thing for them per se. You know what I mean? Does that make, it's like if it's like your friend that you're like fucking around with, like, hey, give me that, then like who really cares? But if it's somebody you're interested in, you're kind of like maybe a little more trepidatious about that.
Yeah. About like casual physical contact.
Yeah, or wrestling a romance novel out of their hands. Either way, but it's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I think, to be fair, though, it wasn't clear that it was a romance novel at that time. Like, he thought it was the secret witch book that had all the secrets.
It's tricky. I see what you mean, yeah.
Like, if they knew it was a romance novel from the start, there probably wouldn't have been that scene.
So, the next important thing happens, which is that they start studying the magic book, and, Avery, I guess, is reading it out loud, and Reese as a cat is listening to it and starts to purr. And this is weird. This is like this is the weird weird, it's not like it's almost like sexual tension, but it's like inappropriate because there's a cat.
Yeah.
We end up in this run every time.
I don't think it's sexual, though. I think he says he's just soothed by the voice.
Yeah. And we don't get explicit, like, Crouch references in this run, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
but it's just a little, it's just weird, and it's definitely weird, like, and awkward, and is supposed to be awkward, I guess.
I'm gonna sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna make a prediction that every single route is gonna trip a little on this scene in particular.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so Reese is like, well, cats can purr for all kinds of different reasons.
Yeah, it kind of comes off like Avery's like, are you purring? And Reese is like, no, I'm not purring. He's like, are you happy? Cats purr when they're happy. Well, no, cats purr for other reasons too.
It's
Fair.
I in my notes I just have the word communication in all caps, and I don't remember exactly what the conversation is, but it's one of those where they're just like, it's not like I like you or anything. But then Reese finally is, I guess, saying like, oh, well, I'm having a nice time, and then it's like, and then the confession comes out of like, Reese is like, well, I like your reading voice. It's like, it's really relaxing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, is that weird? I'm sorry. Which is very relatable to me. Like, I've definitely said something equally embarrassing to someone I had a crush on, but it like was less ambiguous that I had a crush on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they hang out and they do that. So that's like the first like kind of like, oh, I like you, I like you too kind of thing, because like telling someone you like their reading voice is too intimate for friendship. And they fall asleep in the living room.
The end.
Yeah.
The
end. And Avery wakes up, and Reese is going through their clothes, judging them on all the clothes they own.
Mm-hmm.
So not only just insult the apartment, oh yeah, he insulted the apartment's decoration too. And Avery's like, well, I'm house sitting for my aunt, and Reese's response is, well, you're doing a really great job on that.
But so, it is messy, so I'm like kind of like, well, Avery, come on, step up here.
But then to go through the guy's clothes and then, oh yeah, your fashion sense is terrible. Like, can you not do anything?
Reese is like, all of these clothes are gross. All the clothes are like, I guess, old, and kind of beat up, and and Reese is. I don't remember if Reese says that he's gonna get us anything, or it's just like, this is dumb and bad. I don't like your dumb clothes. But then so of course Reese judges our fashion sense, and then we head to work, and Reese is like, carry me to work because you're gonna walk a lot faster than me. And so Avery, I guess, like, picks up Reese, and Reese as a cat is like sitting on Avery's shoulders as they walk to work, and then naturally as they keep walking, Reese purrs again and continues to be embarrassed. It's just, I don't know, the purring is strange, but I never had like cats.
You think he'd be able to help it when you're walking and like fully awake and conscious?
Yeah.
I
don't know cats.
I assumed he was just sort of falling asleep when he was listening to Avery read.
Yeah.
But now he's got no excuse.
Right.
I hate Reese.
No, still, alright. I forgive the furring. That's my purring.
The
That's
furring.
my thing.
The furring.
The furring.
Oh boy.
Finally, we'll all have cat sonas by the end of this.
Oh boy.
I'm a tabby.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. I'm more of a dog person, honestly.
Oh, calling me out, and you're a dog person. Okay.
Then my next note is just Reese doesn't drink coffee because he's a baby, and I don't remember why. They get to the cafe.
Oh,
yeah, it's true. Well, it was a sweet scene. So, like, so they get to the cafe, and Avery's like, "Oh, do you want coffee? I'm gonna go grab something." And Reese is like looking at, like, he's like sniffing the wall or something. Like, he's looking at like oh, what the hell is going on the outside here? Like, when your dog smells something else new, it's just like, oh, what the hell is this? I gotta stick my nose in this for like 20 minutes.
And he's still a cat. while this is happening.
And so she comes out and he's back to a person, but he's still obsessed with whatever he's reading on the outside of the building. And she's like, oh, here's your coffee. He's like, oh. And then the cool part is the writing gets like pretty like nuanced for the first time in a while. And he says, oh, I actually wasn't paying attention to you when I said that, but fine, I'll take it. And she's like, no, if you don't want it, if you don't drink coffee, you don't have to take this. And he's like, no, you went to the effort to get it for me. I appreciate that. I'm going to take the coffee from you. Thank you very much. And like, it's like, oh, that's how two adults talk when they actually enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, that's nice. And then their hands touch and it's anime.
Yeah.
But so Reese then is like, I am gonna do magic. Like we talked about, you want to see my magic? I'll show you some magic. And
then he whips out his marker, labeled marker, and draws on the wall. And
I really
he draws
a shitty cat.
A shitty
Real
cat.
shitty cat. Real shitty.
Yes. I really do love that the visual is this giant marker with the giant letters that spell out marker written down it. But
in case you didn't know.
Yeah,
right.
I believe we actually have a picture of this in the chat.
I do.
It's very good. Polahoka made a very good image of this.
Put that in.
It's
like if Harry Potter said a thing labeled wand.
It's like a children's book. Like, learn to read. So he draws a shitty cat, and he makes the cat come to life and walk around on the wall and walk off the wall and walk on him. And it's really cool, and I wish that it was drawn for us, but
yeah, I was a little miffed about this, because it's like, here's this thing that we'll animate, but we can't animate it. So, like, it shouldn't have been called out. I feel like you could have made something else, but I
would have liked to at least seen an image of, like, the cat standing on Reese's shoulders off the wall.
Yeah. Which would have been doable. Just put, like, lion cat on his shoulder and, like, you know, whatever background in the way.
Yeah, how hard is it to make a doodle that's bad?
What game engine do you need to have? No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
Not even. No.
But yeah, so he's like, so Reese talks about, I guess, that he has that he wants to do the same kind of magic as his dad, who has design magic. And we learned that Reese's dad, Reese's parents own the company, the I guess fashion company Boy Luck, which is a great name.
Yep.
And Avery's shoes are Boy Luck, and so then Avery's like, oh my god, like, your dad is Boy Luck? Which is great. And he's like, yeah, I want to be like my dad. You know, I want to do the same kind of magic as him, basically. And Reese is like, don't tell everyone at the cafe. I don't want them to treat me differently because I'm Boy Luck Jr.
I'm the heir to the Boy Luck.
And Avery's like, well, what about me? You're not worried I'm going to treat you differently? And Reese goes, well, you never respected me in the first place.
Which is not inaccurate.
No.
Yeah.
I really like their banter. I gotta say it. They're a good couple.
Yeah, it gets
I
much
like
better at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that part. They're sweet. I really like this next part also, which is that they actually go into the cafe and they're talking, and they're like not going to talk about how they hung out last night, but then Reese cannot help himself and has to own Avery about Avery's shitty apartment.
Yeah,
and Landry is like,
oh, you
oh,
see this
really?
huh?
Yep. It's so like the thing of like the cliche of like the virgin who's like, I'm gonna be a gentleman, and then the first chance he gets is like, oh, I was totally in her place. I was in her place. I was in there. I was in the bedroom. I saw it.
He's such a nerd. And what I also love is, like, the lack of respect for Reese that Landry and Hayes immediately leave to go tell everyone else about it.
They're like, don't laugh in front of him, dude. Just don't laugh in front of him.
Yeah, like, they're like, we only have to make it, like, 50 feet, and then we can laugh about this.
And then Reese makes it worse by, like, trying to correct himself. Is like, no, guys, it's not like that. And everyone's like, oh, it's not like that, huh?
It's great. It's silly, but it's at least it's now because like Reese has been getting embarrassed like this whole time, and it's like now finally like Reese is embarrassed more in a way that's like I like this person and this person likes me kind of thing. I don't know. I felt like it was we're moving more toward like okay, this is that kind of like banter that's actually affection and not just like friends being mean to each other.
Yeah. Like in the first fruit, he's almost a dick for being a dick's sake, and like now you're like, oh, he's just he's got all these other things going on beneath the surface that we didn't see before.
Mm-hmm.
So then, someone shows up at the cafe.
Is this when the anime comes?
Oh, that's right. I
Yes.
forgot about this part. Right. Yes.
This is my first note, and it reads, "Who let the anime in?"
Right? My notes just say a witch shows up. OMG, who is this?
And at this point,
like Uber for
it's
brooms.
a very it's
Who is?
very.
How do we describe this person who
He's
shows
very
up?
very clearly a witch, like with the flowy garment and like the black robes and the witch accessories, and is even putting on that air of being a powerful witch.
And he looks like he's caught in some wind that doesn't exist.
That doesn't quite exist yet because they're indoors.
It's like the dude that goes to the Renaissance fair and everybody's like, yeah, a bit much. That's a bit much.
Like
Yeah,
he's the
which
guy
is-
at the
which
Renaissance
I
fair
love.
that keeps correcting people. Is like, no, you're supposed to say thou. This is medieval times.
I love that about this game where like magic is totally real, but the people who use it are still like those people, like are still just our peers. I actually love that about this game.
It's pretty good.
And like the way people react to them is like the way people would react to people like that.
Oh,
like
it's
if
coming.
you showed
Here
up
comes
like
my
this.
favorite part. We're real close to it.
So yeah, this witch shows up and is like, oh, I'm a witch and I'm here to duel the owner of this establishment.
Here to have a Pokemon battle. I want your stuff.
Grace's
Yeah,
kid arrives. He looks exactly like the kind of kid Graves would have.
Right.
Graves' teenage son who's rebelling against him.
Yeah.
By doing the exact sort of thing Graves
By
would
doing the
love.
exact
totally.
same thing.
My dad doesn't wear cloaks.
That's how you tell us apart.
There's not a sword in my cane.
So this goth witch wants to duel, and Avery, like Reese is there and is like kind of freaked out and is like and Avery at first is kind of freaked out, but then is like, oh no, like Reese is here and Reese knows about real magic, so like Reese will duel you and like all this stuff, and like starts like
Reese will
hyping
fuck you up. He's
Reese.
so strong. He's like Goku in real life, and he is. Yeah.
He's got a
Avery
black
does
belt,
not know
and
how
he
to
put this
stop.
kid in the hospital. You should watch out.
And like Avery has no concept of like the actual life or death stakes of this duel.
Like, even
And Reese is
when
like,
he's-
even a few times Reese is like, Avery, stop, and it's like, okay, no, I get it. Avery's like, okay, I'll chill out. And then just 2 lines later is like, yo, my boy, Reese gonna fuck you up.
This also seems kind of out of nowhere. Like
Kicks
I
ass
did like
Socrates.
it's like, oh, you actually respected Reese this whole time?
Yeah. I was kind of like, you just saw that line magic before, right? Like, how do you think this fight's gonna go?
Yeah, it's a little foolhardy even for our idiot baby.
well,
And also in
even
the very
he-
beginning, Landry walks out and he's like, how about I just call the cops on this guy?
Oh my God, Landry.
And Reese is like, no, we're gonna settle this.
We're just gonna settle this
Landry's
like
so
witches.
good.
Yeah, I like
Landry
Landry
is so
here.
good.
Yeah.
But I really like that Avery, when he's got these like bluff lines, like, "Oh, Reese is gonna kick your ass," he has these little asides to himself that's basically just, "I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing."
Yeah. So obviously Reese is like, obviously like both of them together are like unlikely to be, even like all of them combined like probably are not well matched for this like actual witch who knows what he's doing.
And Reese shooting these looks to Avery, like, dude, shut the fuck up.
And so
Didn't say
so
I knew
they
karate, I
duel.
said I heard about it.
So they eventually Reese has no choice but to actually duel this like extra character from an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Reese isn't actually strong enough to fight this guy, and like makes some cats and stuff or whatever, and like they don't do anything.
He makes
they're
like a
not-
sword and a shield at one point, but they kind of fall apart as he like tries to pick them
Yeah,
up.
like
right.
the thing is, everything he draws just kind of falls apart quickly after he animates it.
Yeah. And Gothwitch is
And-
like, "Hast thou protest a joke?"
Yeah.
And this goth witch has a bell that is his power. He rings the bell and it like sends a force wave at them, and finally Avery has to like help and try to actually like do this thing so that this witch will go away, and like throws some trash at the witch and like stuffs up his bell so he can't ring it. But surprise, he has a backup bell. Now what are they gonna do?
I got 2 bells, motherfucker. What are you gonna do?
Bells.
Johnny Two Bells.
Well, and they play it off, right? Like, doesn't, like, Avery then try to play it off like, ha, Reese is really my apprentice. I was fooling you this whole time, you know?
Yeah,
And-
Avery has this line, like, he's watching the fight because he can't really do anything, and Reese is, like, clearly struggling, so he just out of the blue says, "That's the signal," and they both just
Oh,
look at
that's
him,
right.
like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he plays it off like it was a big distraction.
Right, and he always says, like, he says something like, I only said that because it sounded like something kind of cool to say, you know, or, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and he was also like, "Thanks for distracting him, Reese."
That's right, yeah, exactly.
Thanks,
But
I could help, bro.
the goth witch falls for it, though. And like, oh, you're the real, you know, wizard or whatever. And then, yeah, then we get bell stoppage followed by second bell.
Well, and Goth Wizard is over dramatic like Graves, and he's like, "Oh lo, how I fell for such a simpleton's trick."
And so then things are really looking bad for our heroes. And then the police actually show up because Landry just called the police, which
Right,
is
yeah.
so good
That
and
is a
great
pretty
and
great.
great. And it's that same cop, the cop lady from
from
before.
Finley's route, yeah.
Female anime cop. Yep.
Right.
And we learned that Goth Witch's name is Asmodeus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his name is
Because
probably
of-
Gary, but you know, she calls
Yeah.
him Asmodeus because she's humoring him.
Right.
No, and she knows that his name is Asmodeus, and it's like implied that he's like caused a lot of disturbances
That he's done
before.
this before, and she's like, I told you last time, if you did this again, I'd have to write you up.
For
But
ringing the bell.
then, it's like, oh, as they're out of earshot, as they think they're out of earshot, Avery hears the cops say to Asmodeus, do you want to, like, go get lunch? And it just, like, adds this, like, totally unnecessary and fantastic layer of complexity onto their relationship. Like, they're friends? Are they dating? Like, what? I think they're
Well,
dating.
so
I
this
think
also-
she wants to date him.
Asmodeus?
So this is also adds to
Wow.
the like the Finley route when we were like, is she just a magic cop that appears in every situation? By the way, I hope that every personal situation that arises is actually solved by the police come and just fix it in every route. Landry,
Yeah.
Hayes, whatever. But
Are we gonna learn a little bit more about this cop in every route and, like, eventually figure out, like, you know, is she, like, a
She's
a
the
magic
Deus
character
Ex
herself?
Machina,
Secret cop route. Secret cop route.
oh my
the
god,
cop
So-
ending.
I think that the cop and Asmodeus are dating. Or I think that she wants to date Asmodeus, but she also has to keep arresting him, and, like, that's, like, a separate visual novel that's happening in the background of this visual novel.
I would imagine that the
It's called
cop
fan fiction, D-Vac.
Yeah, the cop would probably like want to flirt with him, but he'd be like too busy with like his dramatic. Oh, I can't believe I got beaten by these fools.
I mean, she asked him to lunch, and she says, like, how about I treat you to lunch?
Yeah, it's
Like-
just something like it's been a rough week, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah. Like, what?
He's like, thanks, Gina.
Did you lose another witch duel?
Wait, what's her name? Gina?
That was my joke.
Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
don't know if she has a name.
No, he
No,
calls
he
her
just
that.
called her Gina.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't remember if it was
Officer.
Gina or Tina.
Gina.
Right.
Anyway, mysteries abound, frankly.
About Officer Gina.
Officer Joy.
They're, like, Gina and Asmodeus are, like, the most compelling couple in this game to me so far.
Oh, I totally want the sequel to be about Gina and Asmodeus. Because,
my
like, how does
fan
that dynamic work? Especially if, like, she's like, hey, dude, you can't keep ringing bells at people.
It's so good.
Fanfiction writers get busy.
I
DVAC
will.
kept busy. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm gonna make I'll make a comic or something. I don't know. I'll put it on my to-do list. I'm not just gonna write fanfic, please.
That seems like
I'm not just gonna
work,
write.
though.
I also have to draw something.
One of my favorite authors made the joke today that most sequels are just authors' own fanfic.
Of course. So, what else? Oh, Reese is upset after the fight, obviously, and goes up to Graves' apartment and is obviously embarrassed, right? Because he couldn't fight. He couldn't do the magic thing. Mm-hmm. And Avery, I think Avery, like, goes up and sort of apologizes and is like, I'm sorry I put you on the spot, but, like, this doesn't mean you're bad at magic or anything like that. And Reese talks about how he wants to he wants to copy his dad's magic to be exactly the same as his dad, but then it seems to be the case that, like, his magic, Reese's magic, is different than his dad's.
He kind of confesses at that point that, you know, the sketches that were in his sketchbook, he just copied them. He can't really draw at all. He's a worse artist than Graves is. And he's doing this thing where he just wants to copy his dad and be like his dad's magic, and that's why he's there, to try and get better, and he's not getting any better. The curse isn't broken, and he feels like a failure because he just can't succeed at what he's trying to do.
Yeah, and he even says, like, that Graves tried to get him to do stuff, like, other stuff besides the type of magic that his dad does, and, like, won't let him do it, like, trying to encourage him to find his own thing. But he, like, it's clear, like, he doesn't quite get it, that he needs to find his own thing. But I guess talking to Avery, like, kind of makes him kind of start to see that maybe more than he did before. And eventually Avery is, like, saying, like, you know, you're still good at magic, you're gonna figure it out, it's gonna be fine, and Reese is like, no, it's bad. And Avery says, I'm gonna kiss your stupid face shut, and they both just sit there in stunned silence.
Avery has this kind of internal
and then doesn't
thing.
Kiss them.
Yeah, Avery has this internal monologue because they see that Reese is taken aback by that, and they have this kind of momentary, that shut him up, and then immediately into, wait a minute, why the hell did I just say that?
Yeah, why did I say that? Do I mean that? Are we gonna kiss now? What is this? What's happening? And then they eventually kiss.
They do.
And it's awkward. Even the CG is like both of them, like, with their eyes closed, making, like, a pursed lips at each other.
At least the injuries, mostly.
Yeah, they're just going in blind.
Bump. Oh, my eye.
Oh, my head.
Avery. So that's it's cute. Again, it's this issue where, like, they have a fight and then they kiss, and I don't know, like, it's such a, like, an emotionally charged situation, and, like, but not, like, in a romantic way. Like, Reese is trying to deal with, like, his personal problems of feeling like he can't live up to his dad, and that doesn't really have anything to do with Avery.
Yeah.
It kind of does, because they go back to that point of him having this jealousy issue where Avery just came in and did all these things that he's been trying for years to do, and he doesn't get it, and he feels jealousy, but he also knows that isn't really what like, that's not quite right.
It just feels weird to go, like, so quickly from, like, it's difficult, yeah, and that it does support it too, because it's like, I feel jealousy toward you, and I feel bad about it, but I still feel jealousy toward you, also I'm gonna kiss you now. Like, it doesn't quite add up to me.
Yeah, the transitions are really quick, especially because, like, the beginning thing where, like, where Avery is coaxing Reese out of hiding, it's like, it's very genuine. So there's this real like emotion, like, hey, just come out and talk to me. Like, I need to speak with you. Don't let this go this way. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
not going to let it fall apart like this.
Yeah, and it seems like, that comes from a real emotionally vulnerable state and somebody being really honest with the other person. And then it immediately reverts to, but I'm angry at you because you're probably screwing me over. It's like, no, that person was just really open with you and was like emotional and tried to get you to like share with this person, and then you immediately get suspicious. Like, that seems like the transitions are just a little too abrupt. Like, I like the story in general, and I think this route is really good, but sometimes it turns too quick, and that part kind of rubs against you.
Yeah. So after the kiss, Reese starts sewing by fixing Avery's hoodie. And it seems like, I think we have like that big time skip now where it's like, and then we dated for a while. Reese starts sewing, and it seems like his actual magic is related to sewing.
Like,
and he starts to figure that out.
clothes.
Yeah, so he makes he fixes Avery's hoodie and enchants it so that it will get warmer or cooler depending on the temperature outside, which is really fucking cool. And he starts like playing with other people's clothes, not his own clothes, other people's clothes, and enchanting them and stuff like that. And one day, Avery and Reese head out together, and Reese doesn't turn into a cat. So that's cool.
Yay!
That's different than Finley's route, where it's like, yeah, he did figure it out, just like Avery figured it out, and it happened, and it's fine. And I really like that. I really like this scene, and he's like, I'm not a cat! It worked! And Reese sincerely is like, thank you, Avery, for helping me with all this. And Avery says, I did it just to get in your pants. Which is really good, because it's like a joke, and like to me, like it definitely hit me as a joke. Like, it made sense. And then Reese is like, ha ha, and then Avery's like, no, I mean it though. And then like Reese doesn't know what to do with this, and it's really funny. And then Avery's finally like, I'm kidding, I like you, and they kiss goodnight.
Oh.
So that's sweet.
They
get to
become
kiss
very
goodnight
sweet
as people
towards each other.
Yeah. So that was fun. Yeah, that was cute. And then we have the same scene as before, where Noct shows up and is like, where's Graves? And we're like, we don't know, and we have to run away. We run away down the alley where Graves shows up, or Noct rusts our ankle, and then Graves shows up to save us, but then says, run away, and gives us the cafe, capital G gives us the cafe, and tells us to run away. And so we run away, and in this instance, also going to find Reese makes a lot more sense. Because it's like, oh yeah, this is somebody who knows about magic and knows about like the rules of magic and like magic society or whatever.
Yeah, like there are a couple certain points in this route where there's stuff going on, and Avery doesn't really know if they're breaking which rules or not, and his immediate response is to just go to Reese and be like, I don't know what's happening.
Another thing I really like about Reese in this ending part is that Reese wants to go fight Noct with Avery. Like, he's like, let's go fuck him up. And not, like, versus Finley, who was kind of like, you stay here and, like, I'll defend you. I like that Reese and Avery are more evenly matched, even though they're both idiot babies. That they're evenly matched, and, like, neither of them would assume that the other one was sort of incapable or needing to be protected in like a really fundamental way, where it seemed like Finley like very much wanted to take care of Avery all the time. So that's nice that they're not like, oh, we don't need anybody's help, we're just gonna go fuck him up.
True.
And so they go back together, right? So Reese is like, let's go there right now. Where are they? And Avery explains where they are, and he's like, oh, I know where that is. And he takes out his seam ripper, and he rips a hole in space-time, and they warp through this dimensional portal to where Noct and Graves are, which is really good. In my notes, I don't know if y'all read the Golden Compass books when you were a kid, but the second book in that series is called The Subtle Knife, and it's about a knife that can rip through dimensions, which is basically exactly what Reese did.
Yeah. Yep. And the references there is real good too. It says, what is this Merry Melodies nonsense? Which is it's a sister series for Looney Tunes. So remember when they used to in Looney Tunes when they used to zip up a hole or unzip a hole in reality?
Like they had a little portable hole that they'd put on the wall and jump through it and then come out somewhere else.
Exactly.
It's really cool. So Reese's magic is super powerful, right away. Here it is, right? Which I think also makes sense. This whole idea is I mean, I guess Finley can sort of take people's powers away, but she's not super in control of it even at the end. But Reese is immediately yeah, I can do that. I can open portals in time and space. Here we are.
And plus the idea he was doing the wrong kind of magic before and was still able to get something out of it means he's got some kind of inherent magic in himself.
Yeah. And so they arrive on the scene and we see Graves's rust body, and this really chilling musical sting plays, and it's really, it upset me. I was like, ugh, good thing I know that he's not actually dead. Noct is there still, so they just confront Noct right here.
And I really like this confrontation because he kind of immediately goes after Reese. He sees that, they...
Yeah, Noct knows who Reese is.
Yeah, Noct knows who Reese is, and he knows that Reese is Graves' apprentice and has been there for years. And he can see that Graves gave the cafe to Avery, and kind of plays with this against Reese, saying that, okay, you've been this guy's apprentice for years now, and you've done so much for him, and he hasn't done anything for you, and he didn't even give you the cafe, which is exactly like him.
Noct and Graves definitely dated. This whole thing is here, typical Graves, you do all this work for him, and he doesn't give you anything in return. Oh, can you believe this guy?
And he does kind of a little bit, join me and we can roll together thing, or at least, if you give me what I want, I can give you, the cafe or whatever. And it
doesn't he just... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
It kind of works for a second. He has this period of doubt where it's you know what, this is kind of bullshit that I did all this and Graves or Avery is the one that got everything, and that's bullshit.
But ultimately, Reese just rips another hole in space-time, and they escape. And they talk about it. I don't know exactly when they talk about it, but basically Avery's that guy, he was just trying to mess you up, and Reese is yeah, but I am mad, but I'm gonna fucking kill Noct, first of all. Don't even worry about that. I'm mad at you guys and jealous and whatever, but no, I'm still gonna fucking kill this guy.
And Avery is cool
and
about
immediately,
it. They offer
immediately Reese is gonna kill him. Absolutely. He even explicitly says it.
Yeah. Just flat out, we're gonna destroy Noct. But Avery is cool about it and offers, I don't even know. They come off I don't even know what Graves did. If I have the cafe and you want it, I can just give it to you. I don't, that's not a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Avery's I don't even know how this works.
Yeah,
as usual.
And then Reese immediately breaks down like a baby. I'm sorry, in my notes, I stopped putting baby in my notes, and I said innocent summer child. That's what he is.
Yeah, I have it in there too, they escape back to the cafe, and Reese immediately breaks down. Obviously, I mean, he just had to confront all of these things, but then of course, as soon as Graves is, I guess, taken out, the curse is broken. So everyone else shows up at the cafe to celebrate, and it's a very different scene, right? Because like Avery and Reese have to explain that like the reason why they're uncursed is because Graves is probably dead. And Landry again says that weird line he has where he says that magic is a scourge. And Reese calls him an adept. I don't know if he did that last time or not.
I don't remember
think
that.
so, because it's like
He says that Landry's an adept.
I'm
not
So
sure
what's
if this
that
happened last time.
I think he does, but I don't think anyone like addresses it like they do in this time.
Yeah. And but everybody splits up to help Avery, go get Graves, go get Mochi, they do all the same things that they did in the previous route. And also the magic study cram session makes more sense this time with Reese and Avery talking about it, just because again, like it all makes a lot of things make way more sense with Reese, or particularly with a character that already knows about magic.
Yeah, and especially just because like the idea of like you talk to the one person who knows the most, then you have a relatively brief session with them doing this stuff, and then you kind of like build on that session, but also you're relying on them to direct you next. It's like you're not going to just be like, oh, we should just tell everybody right away. You're going to be like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm just going to follow his lead.
Mm-hmm. And so then also when the confrontation happens, nobody else gets rusted. Noct shows up and Avery and Reese go to fight him outside, and Avery, I think, goes up to the soda machine and makes it shoot soda cans at him.
Yeah, and this is a brilliant line of thinking, because he comes up with this plan based on, I heard once that soda can make aluminum rust. So I'm going to go to this soda can that looks kind of broken down. I hope this qualifies as garbage, and make it shoot soda cans.
It's like stupid attack strategy courtesy of not checking Snopes.
Yeah. And so it doesn't work, obviously. But while like parallel to the fight before, like while Noct is distracted by the dumb things that Avery is doing, Reese just fucking opens a hole to the Shadow Realm underneath Noct and pushes him in.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Reese also has a great line here, which is just a fall to hell Noct.
Yeah, like, oh my god. Like, Reese is just like, here you go to, like, literally go to hell. I have opened a portal to hell, shoved you in it, and now I'm sewing it shut. Goodbye forever.
Dang.
That escalated quickly.
It does,
Like,
because it's the
holy
same kind of
shit.
deal from the last route, where it's like, oh, it's cute, hashtag blocked, hashtag reported. Oh, by the way, you're in, like, this eternal prison. Whereas here,
But Reese doing this...
Yeah, you've been pushed into literally nowhere and nothing, and you're going to be trapped there forever.
But Reese doing this makes a lot more sense, because, like, Reese getting this dark, like, it makes a lot more sense for
Yeah.
him,
It does,
because from his perspective, Noct just killed Graves. Like,
Right.
of course he's gonna kill him, he has the capacity to kill him. And so it's rough, like, it's scary, but it makes sense in the scene a lot more. And then, of course, naturally, as soon as Noct enters the Shadow Realm, Graves gets up and is like, oh no, I'm fine, actually, don't worry, I'm fine.
I got better.
Right.
And so nobody else is involved, it's like just Avery and Reese.
Right.
And they save everyone, and then they have to, like, later explain magic to the other people in the cafe, but it's very focused on just them. And I put this in my notes, which is very important, which is Graves actually apologizes for being shitty.
I'm just now wondering, like, if Graves is fine now, immediately after this, does that mean the cat curse is back in effect for everyone else? That is not
maybe.
Reese and Avery?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was implied at the other ending as well.
Okay.
But they were going to teach them also so that they could break it.
Right. I remember now.
And so Graves apologizes for being shitty, which is, great job, Graves. You're aware of being of how shitty a mentor you are. And then there's, like, an aside that's like, also Graves convinced Reese to free Noct from the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
So Noct didn't die either.
I don't know that I agree that Noct didn't quite deserve to go to the Shadow Realm, but whatever, okay.
Yeah. Well, then they talk about it, like, in this really convoluted way of, like, well, if he's in the in-between space, like in X-Men when Nightcrawler bops around, like, he travels through another dimension, and it's, like, in that, like, microsecond that you're in that other dimension, like, something could kill you. And so that's basically what they lean on for this, of, like, oh, well, if he's in the in-between, then he could attack us while we're traveling through this portal, and we want to use the portal to go to the beach.
Go to the beach, yeah. We don't want to open a portal up to go, like, somewhere else and have him pop back out.
Yeah. And then, like, also I think we didn't really mention is that Avery has kind of been building up this, like, oh, you and me, we're gonna go on a trip, like, through the portal, like, we're gonna use the portal and, like, go to the beach, and it'll be great.
We're taking our first couple's vacation. You don't have a choice. Get used to it.
I know, it's adorable.
It really is.
And, but then the ending is not them going to the beach. It's, Reese and Avery, entering the world of fashion.
Kinda. Like, it's such a weird ending.
They're at a fabric store.
Yeah.
I gotta
They're at
say,
a
with
fabric
everything
store.
else that's happened, this is kind of a mundane ending.
It really
Yeah.
is. It's just like, oh,
They
you
don't
want to
become
work in my
superheroes.
dad's business?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
which is weird, because, like, Avery's not suited for any of these things. Like, it's just like, hey, you're part of the business now.
You're now along for the ride.
You've shown no ability for any of this, but
Right.
You've got
also
no
you're
talent
here now.
whatsoever.
Welcome to the family. Here, meet my parents and also work for my company. I'm sure that this will end great.
And also, like apparently
Oh
she's
my
a
God.
model, which I get, but then co-producer, which sounds like just a bullshit thing you give your new...
Yeah.
Now, here's what's
Significant.
gonna
Yeah,
happen.
you get executive credits with this, sure.
Don't worry
Here's
about
what's
it. You
gonna
got points in
happen.
the back end. You're fine.
They're gonna give Avery some, like, token position in the company, like, designing this throwaway line, and he's gonna come out with, like, the car design that Homer made. With, like, 3-leg jeans and, like, plaid mixed with, like, stripes.
Mm-hmm. It'll be great.
He's gonna come
That-
out
that is
wearing
exactly
it
something
wearing it
that-
on the
yeah.
catwalk, and, like, Reese is just gonna have this worried look on his face.
Oh no, my family will never approve. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of look, since I've been living with my parents for a while, I have been watching the soap opera The Bold and the Beautiful, which is about a family that runs a fashion company, and everything about this reminds me of that fake television fashion company that doesn't make sense. It's like, yeah, you're part of the family now, so you just you just also get a job here, and you just started being good at this. Here you go, because we need you to be here for plot reasons.
Hello, I'm the exposition supervisor. I'm here to direct you in the way that you help us out.
So yeah, so Reese and Avery, I guess, continue in the world of fashion or whatever.
That is the ending, too.
The
It's
end.
the world of fashion or whatever.
Or
it's them
whatever.
facing a bank of clothes, and then the end.
Yeah. Then they went to the fabric store. The end. Why isn't it them on the beach? I don't get it. I don't get
Like,
it. They
it may
talk
as
about
well
the
have
beach
just
so
ended
much.
with them going to the grocery store or something.
And then they were at Whole Foods.
So, I mean,
Hey,
that's
you
fine
like
too,
kale,
but
right?
like, that's. I mean, it's just like, yeah, I'm sure they do all kinds of mundane things together, but like, I don't know. I don't know why they talked about the beach and then didn't show them on the beach.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you mentioned that, you have to show it. Or, yeah.
Also, if you're a kick-ass witch, why wouldn't you just keep being a kick-ass witch? Why do you gotta make some clothes?
That's the thing. They
Well,
could
that's
make
his
it like he
magic.
makes magic clothes. So like, what kind of magic clothes would he make? Would he make like pants that don't ever stain, or like a hat that talks, or I don't know.
Yeah, but Avery doesn't do that. So like, what's Avery gonna do? He'll be like, I made your zippers.
I've got a bunch of well, I mean, that's the whole thing about this game, right? Is that they didn't have really the time or the scope to really get into all of these obvious world building questions. Which is fine. I mean, they have a very limited scope, and you know, they had a limited budget, and that's, you know, but it is good. I think that at least, like, I would like to know more about this world, and I think that's been true this whole time. Like, I still want to know more about this world. I wish I had more time with these characters to like get to know them better, and I think a lot of things would be less irritating if we had more time with all these characters.
Yeah. And like, I'm goofing on it, but like, I genuinely enjoyed this route. It was
Yeah.
like, it was way
is
more
a pretty
compelling,
good
and
route.
I liked all the characters, and like, you know, I just liked Reese a lot more, and he's my favorite so far.
Yeah,
I
I
would
like that
say,
Reese and
yeah.
Avery are more evenly matched.
I'd say I like Reese better than Finley, and I liked Finley.
Yeah, I like Finley. I don't like Finley and Avery. I like Reese and Avery a little better. Yeah,
I
'cause their
agree.
power dynamic is more like, not like, oh, I'm a mom and I want to take care of you.
Also, there's
Big
no
dumb baby.
hashtag blocked really hurt
That too.
Finley and
Hurt her
Nathan.
brand, really. The
Yeah,
social
I
media coordinator.
I would let her go. I'm sorry, that's just ridiculous.
You're fired.
You're fired. That's true.
It's like your mom trying to do magic.
Yeah, right. That's
Like, no, Mom, that's not how it works.
That's not what those words mean.
so. I'm gonna call this. I'm thinking the Avery Mason route might actually be the same kind of deal as Finley.
Oh. Well, who do you
I'm
wanna
gonna call it
date
not.
next?
So there, let's see.
All right, fine.
Because I
Fine.
actually think that my vote
$2
may have shifted
down
to
on
Landry.
It's funny.
Landry calling the cops really made me want to learn more about him.
That's it.
Because that was so good. Like, that was such a masterful move.
Nothing
And I, like,
interesting
want to
like
know
a
what his
character
deal
that solves
is.
their problems
Hold on.
by calling the police.
Masterful?
I mean,
Like, it was so... I'm sorry, I mean, like, funny. Like, it was very funny, everybody got owned in that scene because Landry just called the police like a normal person. And I kind of like the potential there for, like, oh, hey, it looks like you've got a bunch of problems with magic. I'm gonna solve them like a normal person.
I'm gonna call
Andrew
someone
Jordan's
that
like, calling
that is
911.
legally armed to prevent this.
Yeah, it's just... I want to see what his deal is.
Who do we have
now.
left?
His deal is he does the thing you think you would do if you were in the situation, I guess.
Is
Hey,
it- so-
Officer
but
Gina, we have
compared-
some scourges outside our cafe again.
Compared to, like, how everyone else, like, reacts and handles things, like him reacting, like, super normal, like, is actually, like, yeah, it's hilarious. I want to see it. I want to see more of that.
So, who do we have here? We
got Hayes, Mason, and Landry. I think that's all that's left.
And Graves.
I kind
Come
of
on,
want to see
Grayson.
Mason, but I'd be
Yeah.
down with whatever.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn.
We didn't get a lot. We didn't really get any of Hayes or Mason in this.
If I
in
would
this playthrough,
have to choose, I would say I want to go to Hayes.
shit, a three-way tie.
Slobey's favorite boy, Hayes.
Oh god, I'm so indecisive. Who else didn't vote? There's 5 of us.
Turbo.
Oh,
All right, listen, Turbo. You and I say it on 3, okay? All right, just first 3, 2, 1. Landry.
Mason.
Ah, shit. Hayes it is.
I was actually going to say Landry. I'm like, wait, no one wants to do Landry.
I was changing the whole time. At 3, I'm like Mason, and at 2, I'm like no way.
Another
The
classic
classic
game
visual
of
novel.
rock, paper, doofus.
Tell you what, you want me to just do a quick RNG thing? We'll just say like, all right. How about what's alphabetical? Like one is H. All right. So if it's
do like a Twitter poll or something like that.
Yeah, get the brand involved.
Oh, yeah, we can
all right,
totally do
yeah.
it.
Yes.
Get that engagement.
Holy shit! Our new Twitter.com. What was it again?
At Visual Novel BC.
Visual Novel BC. That's right.
Yeah.
That's Visual Novel Book Club, not Visual Novel Ancient Caveman Times.
No, it's actually the visual novel adaptation of the classic newspaper comic
Wait,
BC.
just to be clear. Just to be clear, it's at Visual Novel BC. But
Yes. I was going to call it at Visual Novel BCE, just to be politically correct.
Right.
But it's visual novel with an X, so
We're putting this.
don't follow us. I'm trying everything we can do.
Yes.
Don't follow any of us individually on Twitter unless you want more of this bullshit.
Unless
If
you
just want to see the
aggressive
updates.
shit posting.
Yeah, no. Let's put like we can do one of those Twitter polls, and be in the 21st century, and we'll do it that way because we can't decide.
Look at this. This
We
is
just-
what it
we
comes
just
to
love
when
all
we
of
don't have a
them.
council to like make our decisions for us.
It's like ordering what you want for what you want on your pizza. You can't have a group decide that.
No.
Okay, so what are our choices here? We got we got the
Mason,
Hayes.
Hayes.
Hayes, Mason, and
Landry.
Landry.
HLM.
Or just quit the game and play 999 or something like that.
Monster Hunter Light is how you can remember the acronym of people.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Classic.
Are we following 138 people? All right, cool.
I give fallbacks to. We
Alright,
don't have to put this in the damn podcast.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Whatever.
Don't promise the people you'll follow them back on the podcast.
Let's see who some of these people.
Discussing the details.
Hey, let's call out the Twitter. All right, the name of the random
All right.
person. All right.
All right, if we're doing a call out here, we have 5 people that are not following. So who are the ones that we absolutely hate?
They were locked profiles, and I wasn't going to try to submit it. Be like, hey, can I follow you?
Hey, but
Thank you for following our Twitter, everyone. As you can see, it's very professional and well managed.
And not only, but actually, we did sell one copy of Hustle Cat according to the latest stats. So, hooray!
Aw,
Right.
yay.
Oh yeah, the commission is coming right on in this.
Enjoy Hustle Cat, everyone.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week. So, whatever there is, I guess whichever route the results of the poll are, will go to the basement scene of that person, or